Hi, welcome to Bipolar Boxing Picks. This is Nick. This Saturday night, we got Brendan Figueroa versus Mark Magsayo for the WBC Featherweight Championship of the World. Interim Championship of the World, sorry. It's the belt that Ray Vargas left behind, but I'm almost positive Ray Vargas is coming back, and he'll probably fight the winner of this fight, which that'll be an amazing fight no matter who it is, whether it's Magsayo and him part two, or, Vargas versus Figueroa would just be an absolutely phenomenal fight. But starting with Magsayo, his last two fights, he had good showings in both of them. But I don't take much away from the Gary Russell fight. The guy. He's got a decision win over Gary Russell. That's very impressive. But we all remember watching that fight. Gary was fighting with one hand, and he couldn't use the other hand after the second round. And it was just, and he still almost won a decision. That's just why, Magsayo, he won the fight, I understand. But I'm just not looking at that fight and taking a lot from it. So, there's not much I could say about that fight. But the Ray Vargas fight, that's the one you kind of got to look at because that's the one that's going to be way more similar to this fight. And he looked very good in that fight. And I don't know. And I think Figueroa is going to make the same mistake that Ray Vargas made where he's going to choose to fight on the inside. Vargas, he can stay on the outside a little bit at times, but he chose to fight Magsayo on the inside, and he let that be a close fight, in my opinion. I think he could have outpointed Magsayo easier. I think he won a split decision, but I think he could have made that fight a lot easier because that was a very entertaining fight, and he gave Magsayo a big shot to win that fight. It didn't have to be that close, in my opinion. But Brandon Figueroa is going to make that same mistake, and I don't want to call it a mistake because that's what that guy does. And he did it against Stephen Fulton. He almost picked up a win against Stephen Fulton, who, in my opinion, could be one of the top 10 fighters in all the sport. He's definitely top 15, top 20. So he almost took a decision against him. So in fighting that way, usually I would never pick that style, that come forward style, the Mexican style, if you want to say, against just a slick defensive-minded boxer like Stephen Fulton. Stephen Fulton's kind of both, but he's definitely defense first. And usually I'm just going to take that to win an easy decision. He did not win an easy decision. It was a close fight with Brendan Figueroa, and it was a war. He got Stephen Fulton to fight a war with him. What do you think this fight's going to be with Magsayo? It's going to be an absolute war. Plus, Magsayo's going to look at it and say, I should be the natural bigger man. I know it's not going to look like it out there, but he's used to fighting at that weight class, and Figueroa's coming up. So maybe Magsayo looks at that, and, we'll see what he can do in there. But I don't think he's going to be able to hurt Figueroa. I think Figueroa has a chance to hurt Magsayo and knock him out late. But I just see Figueroa winning. He's going to find a way to win 7 rounds. It's just what I'm trying to say. It doesn't matter which way he does it. He's going to be coming forward, but he also gets hit a lot, so he's going to be getting tagged by Magsayo a bunch. But he's definitely going to land more volume on Magsayo, and he's going to win his rounds more clear, in my opinion. And that's what it's going to look like. Magsayo, you're going to give him rounds in there, but his rounds are going to be very close, in my opinion, because they're going to be close rounds all the way around. But Figueroa with that dig into the body, I think there's going to be a few times, I'm going to say 3 times throughout this fight where they're in close and Figueroa digs down to the body and Magsayo backs off. And something like that sways the judge's mind. So I think when that happens, Figueroa is going to win those rounds decisively. Whereas Magsayo, when he wins rounds, it's just going to be that was a close one, and I gave the last 2 to Figueroa, so maybe I give this round to Magsayo. But I don't think he's going to win his rounds decisively. Figueroa is going to have enough in there just to sway the judges. Like I said, all he's got to do is win 7 rounds. I don't think either one's going to get as hard as they're punching, yeah, there could be a knockdown in there somewhere. But I don't think anybody's getting knocked out in this fight. So from a betting perspective, I would just take the over. I think it's 10.5 rounds. I like the over in this fight. And I just like Figueroa to, like I said, find 7 rounds in there to win. But it is going to be an absolute war. So I don't like taking sides on fights that are are just going to be a slugfest because yeah, it's easy to say that Figueroa, given the fights that he's had, and like I said, Stephen Fulton, that's the best fighter that either one of these guys has fought by far, and he looked very good in that fight. Stephen Fulton's a much better fighter than Magsayo, so if he just fights that fight, he wins pretty easy. Magsayo's going to have the best performance of his life, and even if he does, I don't know if that's going to be enough. But like I said, the door's gonna be open for him there because Figueroa just the guy doesn't know how to sit on the outside and outpoint you, but like he doesn't have to. He's been doing well with his style, and shout out to him because it makes for great fights. That's why this fight's gonna be great. And then, like I said, especially if Figueroa wins, Figueroa versus Vargas is going to be a phenomenal fight. So we'll go with I'm gonna say something like 8 rounds to 4. 8 rounds to 4 for Brendan Figueroa, the interim WBC champ. Hopefully setting up Vargas in the next fight. But you guys let me know what you think.